Rock stars, Eric Andreas, your guitar sage here. Today I'm going to show you how to defeat the beginner guitar player's biggest struggles. We're going to be doing a live Q&A. We're going to be giving a guitar away. We're going to be having a blast today here despite the weather. Oh, it was so nice the other day, and now it got all cold and my fingertips are splitting because of the cold temperature, and it's a big mess. But we're here, we're having fun, my friends. I'm glad you're here. So we're gonna break this down into 3 parts, okay? 3 basic areas that are beginner guitar players' biggest struggles. We're gonna be looking at those today. We're going to be talking about the remedies for those. I'm going to be giving you some extra assistance outside of this. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, we have a PDF that we painstakingly created for you. You can see it right there in the description of the video. It's YourGuitarSage.com/bonus PDF. Probably on YouTube as well, but it's definitely on Facebook there. So just check out the description of that video. Otherwise, YourGuitarSage.com/bonus PDF. You want to download that because that has exercises in you for everything that we're going to be talking about today. Okay? We're going to try to do this as much as possible because James is saying the PDF link does not work. We'll check that out, James. But we fake news. We will check that out, but we're pretty sure it works because we just tried it.
Tell them just to copy and paste it.
Yeah, try James. Just copy and paste it if it doesn't work for your specific browser there, but it should work. We checked it. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, so here we go. Let's keep rolling here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get to these 3 bits and pieces. Then we're gonna do the live Q&A. Then we're gonna give this guitar away. How do you win this guitar? This is how you do it. You're going to share this video with your friends, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook. Just share this video, and then after the broadcast, well, like we always do, we like to pick winners who have shared the broadcast. We love that you're participating. We love that you're here. We love that you're leaving comments. But in all fairness, with folks that are sharing the love, because it's all about the share, then those are the folks that are eligible to win. And today we're going to do 5 winners, 6 winners, something like that. Usually we do 5 winners, and what we do is we send out books to those folks, a signed book from me as well as one of my CDs. And if you're overseas or something, if we have a hard time getting stuff to you, then we'll give you the ebook bundle, which is 3 of my books, including the Advanced Blues book. Actually, it's a more expensive value, so those folks overseas. And in fact, if you're in the States here and you'd rather receive the ebook bundle, we can send that to you instead as well. And then some lucky winner is going to win today the Epiphone PR150. This is a 4.5 starred guitar. It's a great starter model, and you're going to love it. So congratulations to the winner who's going to be today, who we don't know who that is yet. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about how to defeat the beginner guitar player's biggest struggles. And we're going to break this down. I'm going to tell you straight up what they are ahead of time, but then we're going to go down into details, okay? So a lot of people, when you say, well, what's this about? Tell me what this is about. And then I tell them, and they're like, oh, I know about that. Do you? If you're having issues in it, then you don't know it. You can know it up here and not know it right in here, okay? So just knowing something, knowing that a bar chord should look like that doesn't mean that you could play a bar chord, all right? So just having the knowledge up here doesn't really help. That's a good start. That's where we want to start, but it's not the end-all, be-all. It has to be in your fingers, right? Okay, so first one is how to stop dropping your pick. Okay, number 1, how to stop dropping your pick. I've got some exercises for you and some habits for you and some other tidbits that are going to help you not drop that pick anymore, okay? Number 2, how to fix buzzing and muting notes. This is when playing chords or scales. There are tricks to this, and a lot of times they just keep going through the motions and they're like, I don't understand. My chords sound terrible, and they don't understand. They haven't gone through the process of dissecting that chord and figuring out what is going on. So I'm going to show you what that's about today and how to remedy that. And then also how to keep a confident strumming rhythm. And I'm going to show you how to do this. And then I'm going to give you exercises from beginner to advanced exercises okay, in the PDF here, but I've also have some other bits and pieces for you if you exhaust all that. Okay, so let's start off with how to stop dropping your pick. And really, I've got 3 areas that I want to focus on here. And we're going to start with the easiest one, which is what type of pick are you using? You saw me just now doing what I call big strumming, okay, which is like when you're just going to town, right? Similar to Folsom Prison Blues, right? Oh, who's this? Eddie. Yeah, dude. It's Eddie Van Halen. But I'm in the middle of a live lesson right now. So we'll chat. Yeah. Yeah. Lesson later? Sure, buddy. Okay. Okay, bye-bye. Eddie Van Halen. Okay, so anyhow, here we go. I have it on mute now. I'm sorry, kids. I usually do that. All right, so how to stop dropping your pick. So number 1 is, what kind of pick are you using? When you see me doing this big strumming, big heavy strumming, you know, usually what you want to do is you want to have a thinner pick, okay? Think about this. The more strings that you're hitting, or the harder that you're hitting the strings, the lighter the pick, okay? The more intricately you are playing the guitar, or the more lightly you're hitting the strings, the heavier you want the pick, okay? You want this balance. It's kind of like if you had really long hair, or very floofy hair, if you had very voluminous hair. Voluminous? Sure, is that a word? I think it is. Voluminous, a lot of volume, right? You would want to use a brush that had lighter bristles, because when you're pulling that through your hair, right, you want those bristles to move with you. You wouldn't use a comb. People that use combs are folks that don't have a lot of hair, okay? So typically gentlemen, right? Gentlemen, they move their hair over and they use the slicky and all that stuff, and they use a comb, all right? Similarly, when you're playing guitar, you want to use a thinner pick when you're strumming hard, okay? That being said, go to the store, go buy yourself a bunch of picks. Buy some mediums, buy some heavies, buy some lights, and then if you're having some issues while you're strumming, change those different picks out. Because this is a good rule of thumb, but there's a reason why it's a good rule of thumb, is because when you're hitting several strings really hard, you want the pick to glide underneath your fingers. If you're using a very thick pick, it's not. It's going to be tugging, and it's going to want to fly out of your fingers, the pick that is. Okay, now something else is, on some picks, some pick companies like Brain Picks, Brain, I think that we have these in our store. Chris, if we don't have these in our store, please make a note. We'll put these in the store. But Brain Picks, Brain, Brain Picks. And what they are is they're basically just a regular guitar pick, but they've got some grit on them, basically. It's like sandpaper, but it's basically like little indentations upwards, and when you hold on to it, the pick doesn't want to fly out of your hands. It's not slick like a regular guitar pick. And I love these, and they come in all different thicknesses. So Brain Picks, check those out. Snarling Dogs. I don't know if I think it's Snarling Dogs is the name of the company, and then Brain Picks is the name of the type of pick that they do. Okay, now conversely, if you just cheapo, you could drill a hole in your pick, or you could grit it up with some sandpaper or do anything like that. Just something to where it's going to hang in your hands a little bit better. They make some with cork, some with a little hole right in the center, like a washer, all sorts of different things that you can do there. But bottom line, if you have some grip, something to hold on to, it's going to not want to fall out of your fingers as much, okay? Now, another thing is we've got an exercise that I'm going to show you, and then also, before we get to the exercise, I'm going to talk to you about a little habit that you can do that will help tremendously, especially the newer of a guitar player you are, the more this is going to work, okay? It still works even if you're not a new guitar player, but what you want to do is you want to walk around with the pick in between your first finger and your thumb. And by the way, if you don't know how to hold the pick, you need to watch the few first videos at YourGuitarSage.com/30. I talk about this all the time. It's my free course. The link's in the description of the video here if you need it. So you want to learn, so first off, before we get to the actual lesson, you want to carry the pick around with you all the time between your thumb and your first finger. Why is that? Well, because you'll probably say, well, that's awkward, Eric. Yeah, it's awkward because you're not doing it. That's why it's awkward. Just like brushing your teeth with your left hand if you're a righty. It's awkward at first, but the more you do it, the more your brain starts going, oh, is this what you want to do? Brush your hand with the left hand? I gotcha. That sort of thing. So same thing, if you walk around with a pick all the time in your hands, you know, you're driving, you're at school, you're at the office, whatever, and you have this pick in your hand, well, what happens is intuitively you're going to start holding on to it more, and you're going to start developing little techniques that you don't even know about. It's just math, it's just physics, things that you're going to be doing to hold on to that pick. You're developing a habit. You're being aware that it's in your hands, and what happens is when you go to play the guitar, it's not going to feel foreign to you. It's going to feel foreign when you're not doing it. If you've ever used chopsticks, same thing. Chopsticks felt crazy the first time I used it, right? Just like people in Asia probably think that forks and knives feel really weird. So, carry a pick around with you all the time, especially in the beginning. You could sit there and noodle with it on the edge of a desk, you know, or a keyboard or something like that, or your leg or whatever, and you'll start getting the feel of, oh wow, okay, that pick feels like it wants to move out of my hands. And then what you can do is you can pinch a little harder on that pick or go lighter, and you can see what the magic quan is for you, because there is a certain grip that you should have on the pick. It's not too hard, it's not too soft. If it's too hard, number one, it's going to wear your hand out, and number two, it's just not the way to do it. If it's too loose of a grip, then the pick can fly out of your hands, but you just want just the right amount of pressure, okay? We call the quan, all right? Okay, and then the last thing that I have for you on this number one here is the pick rest. So let's talk about it. So if you'd like to have this in detail, you want to make sure that you go to the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, because I have a video in there specifically set aside that's going to go into a lot more detail than I'm going to show you here, because we've got a lot to cover today. So the pick rest is basically this idea. I'm going to show it to you in a nutshell, but you do want to watch that video. So a pick rest is this. Let's say I'm on the second string. What you're going to do is you're going to pick the second string and watch my right hand. Literally what I'm doing is I'm allowing the pick to rest on the first string. Now some people say, oh, I don't even need to do that. I can just pick and come out here like that. That's the whole point. You don't want to do that, okay? That's what's messing you up. What you want to do is you want to pick the second string and rest that pick on the first string. The harder this is for you, the more benefit you're going to get out of it, because that means you've got this crazy flyaway hand, okay? People say that all the time, a flyaway hand. So when they're asking me questions, that's the way they always describe it. So you can do this on any string. You do this on 3, 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter. And then you'll graduate to 2 strings, 3 strings, 4 strings. If that's confusing to you, it's because you hadn't watched that video that I'm telling you about, the pick rest. Okay, so practice the pick rest, super duper important. Number 2, how to fix buzzing and muting notes and chords, okay? Now, if you have not learned how to properly fret and how to understand that there's some bits and pieces to fretting, we'll cover them really quickly, but again, this is covered in detail in the free course. Fretting. When it comes to fretting, there's a few things that you want to think about. Number 1, you want to play on your fingertips. You want to play close up to the fret. You want to apply enough pressure. And when it comes to chords, you don't want to let the pad of your finger touch other strings. Okay? And you want to use all your fingers. Okay? So I know that's a lot of things to remember, but I've got a PDF for you specifically regarding that inside the course. Okay? And it's some of this is going to be in the free PDF that I'm giving you today. The download today's bonus PDF, that bit. YourGuitarSage.com/bonus PDF. Some of this is going to be covered in there, but all of it's going to be in the free course. Okay, so how to fix buzzing and muting notes. So here's the deal. So you want to make sure that you do those 3 or 4 things. If you're not doing those 3 or 4 things, that is your problem. And it always comes down to that. Unless you have a sleeve or something like that laying on the string, it's always going to come down to one of those. You're either not pressing hard enough, you're not close enough on the fret, you're not playing up on your fingertip, Using all your fingers is just a good habit to get into, especially in the beginning, because a lot of people don't do it, and because of that, they end up getting in trouble. They run out of fingers. They're trying to play a lick or something, and they got lazy. You know, a third and fourth digit is lazy. Well, I call this the third and fourth digit, but their ring finger and their pinky become lazy, okay? Don't let that be you. That's not you, all right? So that's how you want to fix those buzzing, muting chords. So another thing that you want to think about is this, and I do this with my students all the time, is I will draw a black dot on the very tip of their finger. So some people think that this whole thing is the tip of their fingers, and I guess in some instances that would be so. But in the case of guitar, we're talking about the very tip. So if you looked at your hand straight on like this, then it's going to be the very tip right there. So you would take a black Sharpie or something, draw a black dot on there, and then when you're playing, if you ever see that dot looking up at you, you know that you're doing wrong, and you need to curl your knuckles and get that dot right on the string, right behind the fret. Okay, and you really only have to do this like the first day, maybe 2 days, but you'll establish the habit just by doing this. Okay, and it's a great reminder to literally get you into gear, into playing the right way immediately, because you're constantly reminded if you're looking at your hands, which you should be in the beginning. A lot of folks say, "Oh gosh, I don't understand. I can't not look at my hands." Look at your hands. It's totally fine. No one said you can't look at your hands when you're playing guitar. Okay, later on, you'll develop more of a feel and you won't end up having to look at it as much. But in the beginning, it's totally fine. And in fact, later on, it's fine too. I've never seen someone go, "God, he's an amazing guitar player, but he looks at his neck a lot." No one ever says that, right? Stevie Ray Vaughan, he's looking at his neck, he's playing. Jimi Hendrix, John Mayer, they're looking what they're doing. Do it. It's fine, okay? In fact, you'd be weird if you didn't. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. Is I want you to put a dot on the tips of your fingers. That's a little extra there. And then also make sure that last knuckle is curled as possible. So if you're running into a lot of muted notes, what's happening is the pads of your fingers are laying over and touching the strings. So what you want to do is you want to curl your hand. Okay, so like this. If my hand's like here's a C chord, right? Right, but that doesn't help me if my fingers aren't curled. So if I need to curl my fingers or my hand here, what I'm going to do is think about this last knuckle as curled like that. Make sense? So there you go. All right, so that's how to fix buzzing, muting, notes, chords, that sort of thing. Number 3, how to keep a confident strumming rhythm, okay? Now, here's the deal. You have got to, you have to practice strumming. You have to practice exercises, okay? Or some sort of strumming rhythm. You are not going to get better by watching this video and me telling you what to do and you not doing it. You got to do it, okay? Really, all this stuff I'm telling you is, it's great that you're watching it, but it's like me giving you a recipe or you going and buying all the food and then it's sitting on your table and you've got the recipe and you just sit there and you look at it and you're like, well, I don't understand why I don't have a great meal. Well, because you didn't fix it. You got to cook it, right? So same thing. That's your practice here is you've got the information, you've got the tools. I've given you the PDF. I'm giving you this enchilada course here for you. You've got to get in there. You've got to watch the videos. And then after you watch the video, you practice, then you're going to get there. It's impossible for you to not get better if you do the practice. That's it. It's super easy. It's math. 1, you got resources. 2, you do your practice. You know, practice resources plus practice equals a great player, okay? And the more you practice, it's an exponential effect on your playing, okay? All right, so how to keep a confident strumming rhythm? Well, number 1, in order to keep a confident strumming rhythm, you need to be confident, obviously, and you need to be confident because you've practiced enough. Okay, there's no amount of motivation or, man, my mom says I can do it and this, that, and the other thing, and I'm just so good. And none of that's going to mean a hill of beans when it comes to your strumming or your guitar playing if you're not practicing, okay? So we got to get you practicing these strumming exercises. Now, I've included, I believe, many of them in this PDF that I'm giving you for free. This is in the description of the video. So download that. It's free. There's no sign up or anything. Just download it. It's yours. And then you can have all these strumming exercises that I'm talking about. So we're going to go over a couple of them. But first off, we have to think about the beat. We have to understand the beat. If we're counting a song, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and our foot's hitting the ground, right? That's called a down beat, when our foot hits the ground, right? So down, 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 down. We count 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We usually emphasize the 1 a little louder. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now our foot's coming up as well, right? So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're saying this and when our foot comes up. It's the antithesis of the downbeat. It's the opposite, the reciprocal. The opposite. I said that. Okay. So it's the opposite. And so you got to know that first. If you don't know that, then you're not going to be able to strum very well because you don't have any sort of foundation, right? So the first exercise that I have for you in that PDF is this one. It goes 1 and 2, the first one actually is 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody can do this. In fact, I've taught thousands of one-on-one lessons, and I've never ever had anybody who couldn't do that out of the gate. You just take your hand, your fretting hand, you lay it on the strings as light as a feather. You don't press a chord, you just literally like a wet sponge. Lay it on the strings so you just get that nice percussive sound. And then you just strum down. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 101, right? And everybody can do this. I've never not had someone be able to do this, even those folks with the worst rhythms. Then, what you want to do is you want to go, so you're going down and you're going up, you're strumming both, you're just deciding not to hit the strings on the up. It's a really easy thing to do. You can do this pretty naturally, right? If you can do this, strum 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then you already are doing ghost strums, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's just that you've got to work the math out. The math is easy. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You're specifically not hitting on the upbeat, right? On the up strum. You're avoiding the strings by just kind of missing them. So the next strum you want to do is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now that's too fast. Slow it down. And it's important that you count. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, numbers are always down, ands are always up. Then, as you start progressing through these exercises, and we're not going to get into much more than this because I've given you, number one, I've given you the exercises, but the exercises aren't going to make sense unless you watch that full video about the strumming exercises, okay, in the free course, okay? So, or chances are it's not going to, especially if you're a noob, if you will. All right, so like a ghost strum is when we leave a note out. Let's say we leave the and of 4 out. So it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now I whispered and because it exists. It's a moment in time and it's there. So it's not like time stands still. It's not like we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and we're not, time keeps going. So you want to count something there. Not only do you want to count something there, but you want to keep that hand moving because the downbeats are always on the numbers and the upbeats are always on the ands. If you don't stick to this, there's going to be problems with you and I, okay? Seriously, so what you're going to do is, let's say the and of 4 is gone. You're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and... Makes sense? And later on, there's some more complicated ones. I say complicated just because there's a little bit more math involved, right? But you might have 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2, and 4, and 1, 2. And once this feels good to you, you can slowly speed it up. Way slower than what I'm doing. But that like a train moving. And later on, if you're not counting, that's okay. It's just really for the beginning so you know where you're at in the strum. Cool? All right, my friends. Here we go. We're going to get to some questions. How about that? That was pretty quick. We did that in less than a half hour, right? For those of you that are wanting to win this guitar or books or all sorts of bits and pieces today, you know what to do. Share this, my friends. The more you share it, the more opportunity there is for you to win. And yeah, there you go. Now, if you're having a problem with the PDF, my friends, then copy it and paste it into your browser, okay? We'll make a note for next time, but you should be...
It's a typo in the PDF. The I is missing in guitar.
Oh, well, you can change that, can't you?
I'll have to wait till we're done, but yeah.
Okay, sorry about that, my friends. Okay, so the PDF, we've got a typo in that PDF. We apologize. I'm going to have Chris put that into, I'm going to have him pop that into the chats so you guys can just click on it. But there was a typo in there, so I apologize. Otherwise, oh, it's only on Facebook, so YouTube is fine. And here's the deal. Even if you don't have that right now, if you click on the YourGuitarSage.com/30 link, that gives you way more than even what we talked about today. It's going to give you access to the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students with all sorts of PDFs and the whole 9 yards. It's there for you. I specifically created it so folks, I mean, I get so many questions anymore. This thing turned into a monster. I had no idea it was going to get so big when I started doing this. Gosh, how long ago now? 10 years ago? 11 years ago? I mean, I've been teaching for a lot longer, but on YouTube. And then and started getting so many questions, and I couldn't keep up with them all, right, in comments. Otherwise, I just wasn't playing guitar, spending time with my family, and neither one of those are good. So I created this course so folks could go there, and boom, bingo bango, they're getting their questions answered, and they're rocking the world, okay? All right, so let's get to some questions. Oh, by the way, yes, sharing. If you share this, somebody's going to win this beautiful Epiphone PR 150 acoustic guitar today. We gave 30 of these away in December. How about that? How fun is that? But we're going to do that today. Okay, yeah, the 30 link is right above. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Francelia is saying. There you go. Right there. YourGuitarSage.com/30. That's a song I just wrote. I'm going to make a jingle out of that. Okay, so let's get to some questions. We're going to start with Facebook since I'm on there right now. I'll tell you what, no we're not. We're going to start with YouTube because I always start with Facebook. So here we go. We're going to start with YouTube. All right? All right, my friends on YouTube. Oh, wow. Messages are going quick. They're going very, very quickly. So just hold on there. I got to let it catch up. I'll see if I can grab one. Oh, and by the way, my friends, if you're leaving a question, you know what to do. You remember from grammar school, you put a question mark at the end, right? You do. Because if not, I'm not going to see it because there's hundreds of comments already. How in heaven's name would I be able to know which ones I should be looking at? Because there's no way. It's going... It's scrolling by very quickly, okay? So, questions, here we go. There's one. Hey, I see one. Wayward Crowd, how can I share if I don't use social media? Well, Wayward Crow, that would be difficult for you, wouldn't you? You could go on the street and say, hey, look at my screen, but how can we track that, right? Can't track it, my friend. All right, so... I answered some questions here on YouTube. Eric, when strumming triplets, is it one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, and so forth? So yeah, you could count that like, or really, I just count triplet. So what Mark is asking here, a triplet is when you usually we subdivide beats evenly, like 2, 4, 8. those sorts of things. But sometimes you'll have triplets or sextuplets or something like that. And is that right? Yeah, sextuplets. And basically you're counting in threes, so it's a little bit of a wonky feel. So you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then the strumming is different too, because now it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, it's different. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Unless you've mastered the regular strumming that I'm showing you in this course, don't use that as an excuse. Like, oh, you didn't show us how to do that. No, you master the standard strumming already, and you come back, and then we could talk about triplets. But because if you do that, you're going to know how to do triplets. It's just automatic. So triplets, they just take some time to get used to, you know. Triplet, 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 triplet. Get it? Okay. Trideeb, he is confused with modes. Okay, well, I'm going to mention that very shortly here. I have a video on YouTube. Just type in YourGuitarSage modes, but we're not going to get into all that right now because, number one, it's confusing for a lot of people, and everybody in this broadcast will be completely lost, so we won't get into that. So, my friend, watch the video, YourGuitarSage.com, or sorry, on YouTube, type in YourGuitarSage modes, okay? Rashid is saying, how do I play bar chords? Now, some of these I'm just going to tell you because if I sat here and showed you how to do all this, I'm going to take an hour for each one of these questions sometimes, a half hour, 15 minutes. We can't do that because there's so many questions. So someone just asked, how do I play bar chords? On YouTube, type in YourGuitarSage bar chords. I have a 2-part series, okay? 2-part series. Jeff is saying, I love the Takamine. Thank you, Jeff. By the way, my friends, if I hadn't mentioned it already, I'm giving this guitar away too. This is my personal Takamine. That's right. This is Tatiana, my EAN 10C Takamine that I'm going to be giving away on March the 24th at 11 a.m. That's a Saturday. So everybody should be able to join. And we're literally going to be giving away over $5,000 worth of goodies. We're going to be giving away this guitar. We're going to be giving away lifetime memberships to the Unstoppable Guitar System and books and all sorts of stuff, okay? Okay, so join us March 24th. You can go to YourGuitarSage.com/live if you want to know more about that, okay? Use different picks for different music. Kind of, DJ is saying on YouTube. It depends. Like, if I'm playing rock music, I'm playing with an electric guitar, and I'm playing more intricate type things than I would be, say, strumming big country chords, right, on an acoustic. So yes, in that case, I'd use a thinner pick with the acoustic guitar, and I would use a thicker pick for the rock stuff and a more intricate bits. I mentioned that earlier. So it has less to do with the music and it more has to do with how you play, okay? Your actual playing in that. Max is saying, what is the recommended practice time? Max, if I told you 8 hours, would you listen to me? Here's the deal. If you're totally fine with sucking, then don't practice that much. You don't have to practice. You can play video games, eat pizza, do whatever you want. But if you want to be good, then the more you practice, the better you're going to be. So if you want to be excellent at something and you want to just dominate, then what do? You spend a lot of time in that. You saturate yourself with that. You integrate yourself into that. Just totally go after it. Be passionate about it. And if you're totally fine with mediocrity, then you can sit right in the middle and not practice that much. You know, just kind of a middle amount. And that's not a joke. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's just the truth. It's just being very blunt, you know. Wayward Crow is saying, what is a good lesson for beginning single picking? Wayward Crow, it's a great question. Exercise number 1 and exercise number 2 in the free course that I give everybody, YourGuitarSage.com/30. The link for that's in the description of this video. Hello, Yokabel from the Philippines. Jeff is wanting Tatiana. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm doing it. Where do we join the Takamine giveaway? I want, Travis is saying. Go to if you want to win this, YourGuitarSage.com/live. Go there, and we're going to have an announcement video up there shortly. If it's not up there already, we're going to have it up there shortly, but that's where you're going to sign up. So you can do that now. You can sign up now. Okay. Would like to buy an assortment of brain picks, but don't see them offered. Can you put an assortment on your site? No, Mary Beth, we can't get tiny like that. What I mean by that is, no, we'd have to break those out and what have you. So we don't really do that. That would be very, very time consuming. And dear Lord, is this job time consuming? I say it's a job, but it's not really a job. It's a job, but it's fun. Brian Armstrong has loved the Roku channel. More, please. Best string type and size for 12 string. If you don't know this, I have a Roku channel, folks. If you have Roku, I have a Roku channel. So there you go. Wayward Crow saying, I'd love a membership to your guitar system. I would love for you to have one, Wayward Crow. On March the 24th, I'm going to be giving away at least 10 of them, maybe more than that. So it's going to be bonkers, okay? Is that right? Are we giving away 10 of them? I don't know. We're giving away $5,000 worth of goodies, so I don't know if we're doing all that or just what. But we're going to be definitely giving some away, okay? Someone's asking, can you touch on legato? Legato. Yeah, think about this. There's staccato picking and there's legato picking. And the way you can think about it is this. If you're shaving, a woman shaves her legs, legato, smooth. So the legs are smooth, right? So smooth picking would be like, whoops. That's legato picking. Staccato, think of like a stick in the eye. Would hurt, wouldn't it? Sure it would. So think about this like this. That's staccato picking. And I cover that in detail inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. What do professionals do for soft, broken nails for picking? Barry, what a lot of folks do is they actually go get prosthetic nails. I've got a lot of friends that do this, and just go down to the ladies' salon and get some nails. Seriously. How long does it take to pass the beginner stage? Usually. Depends on how much you're practicing. And honestly, there's no way to answer that question accurately. I'd be making something up. Because also, beginner stage, it's like, what does that mean? Here's the deal. The best thing to do when you're playing guitar is to not worry about stages, not worry about how long is it going to take to get from here to there. And in fact, if you're thinking that, chances are you're probably not cut out for a guitar, because it means you're not in love with the guitar. It'd be like, I don't know, I guess it would be like trying to get to know a friend and you're like, man, I wonder how long it will take before they'll let me have something of theirs, or how long it'll take before I can get something from them. It's like, it's not what music's about. It's not what art's about. It should be this, and I'm not saying that's you, my friend, who just asked that question. What I'm saying is really should be an organic thing. You pick the guitar up because it's fascinating and it's fun. It's not algebra. It's not geometry. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, or I should say it's not taxes, right? It's fun. You pick up the guitar because it's fun. So if you stay in that mindset and get in the zone and just play, you will become a great player. But if you're always thinking about getting to that next place, chances are you're never going to get where you want to get to. Sangeeta, who won the Epiphone PR150 last live? If I mentioned their name, would you know who it was? Probably not. I wouldn't know their name either, because these are folks around the world. I don't memorize their names, so I'm sorry I don't know it. We talked about legato picking, and yes, I have exercises for that inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. For those folks that are very serious about guitar and they're like, forget about this beginner stuff, I really want to get good at guitar, check out unstoppableguitarsystem.com. This is my mammoth course where I have over 600 lessons, over 600 jam tracks. It's an absolutely amazing course, if I say so myself. So check that out. I'm sorry, I've got to turn this phone on. That's driving me nuts. Getting a ton of calls. Will my question ever get answered? This is my question. It's a great question. Yes, it will, Barry. All right, questions. Okay, I'm going to go over to Facebook here because we're doing good lot of love here on YouTube, but here we go. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate the kind words. UGS is totally worth the investment. Unlimited lessons, resources, and a community of players, learners to lead on and learn from. The best investment you could ever make as a guitar player, as a guitarist. Thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate you saying that. That means a lot to me. So what size of brand strings do you prefer on your Strat? You know, right now I'm using D'Addario DRs. D'Addario sent me a box of strings, and they sent me some of those DRs, and they seem to be very nice. I dig them. Is that right? Yes, that is still what's on those. Yeah, and I dig them. I think they're great. I've used D'Addario for years. For years. I also like GHS Boomers. I like Slinkies, Ernie Ball, and I use 10s, 10 through 42 or 10 through 46. Sometimes it's been a while since I've used 9s, but I might use those on a guitar or two, depending on the guitar, because every guitar is different. If the scale length is different, or the way that the strings meet the posts after the nut, or the way they go into the bridge, there's all sorts of things that determine how that guitar is going to play and feel. So it's not just the string gauge. Okay, Tom Miller said, I heard a guideline that 10,000 hours of practice dedication to learning something is a good place to start focusing to become adept at something. Your thoughts? It breaks down to 470 nonstop days and nights. 470 nonstop days and nights. Yeah, I've definitely heard of that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a little bit congested today. I've heard of that. Yeah, in fact, I forgot the book, but I read that book. And yeah, it's just it's a roundabout figure. This gentleman studied a lot. I think it was Malcolm Gladwell studied all these experts who were great in their field, and found out that they had booked 10,000 hours or more in their particular field before things started happening. So you got to think about this. How many people are there in the world? How many guitar players are there in the world? How many people want to do exactly what you want to do? Whether it's guitar, or being an artist, or being a yoga instructor, or being a teacher. Think about all the people that want to do what you want to do. And if you haven't thought about that, you need to be thinking about that, because I don't care what it is that you want to do for a living, or what you do for a living, there's tons of people that want your job, that want to do what you're doing. So it's a good mindset to notice that, and to understand that, and to excel at what it is that you want to do, because there's always room, and there's always people who are willing to work harder. Okay, you can get comfortable wherever you're at, so don't do that with your guitar playing, faux show. All right, scrolling back up to the top here. Okay. How much do you think it would cost to refurbish the wood damage on your Takamine wood surface? Number one, I wouldn't do it. Like, why would you do that? This is love, I would not do that. Personally, I've got guitars that have all sorts of wear on them, but then what it does is it devalues the instrument a lot of times. So if you take a Strat, I've seen very expensive Les Pauls that now would be $250,000, and I've seen people refinish them and make them all shiny and pretty, and now they're worth a fraction of that. Like, they take hundreds of thousands of dollars off of the value of that guitar instantly. So it's not a good idea to do that unless you have serious damage on a guitar. Best to live your dream than to sit and watch somebody else live it. Indeed, Tom. That's why I don't like going to live shows as much, unless it's somebody who really blows me away, because I go home saying, why aren't you on that stage? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you producing more music? Why aren't you da-da-da-da-da-da? So I like watching live shows, but I don't make it a huge habit. It's just me personally, Thank you so much. Nate just posted my Roku channel on Facebook. All right, other questions here. Jerry Cates is saying, I highly recommend Unstoppable Guitar System. Even beginners, easy to follow. Even if you're stuck on something, you can go back for a refresher. Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate that. Would you use a standard or lightweight string for smaller size travel guitars? Jeff is saying. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, buddy? Jeff's taking lessons from me personally, actually, here in Nashville. Jeff, I would suggest regular strings, just standard guitar strings, because especially those little guitars, they're very wonky in their intonation and tuning, and so it's better to have that. Okay, my real Les Paul allows adjusting intonation. My new $99 Epi Les Paul SL does not. Should I spend almost as much as I did on the guitar to upgrade to a bridge that allows for intonation adjustments? Kurt, I've never seen a Les Paul that you couldn't adjust the intonation. That seems strange to me, because there's always like some pieces that you can screw left or forward or backwards. So I don't know about that. But if the guitar's badly intonated, then yeah, it would make sense if you can't play the guitar at all, right? That would render it useless if you're not using the guitar. Okay, John on Facebook is saying, what's a good tip to relieve tension in hands and shoulders? I always tense up when playing. John, a few things. Have fun. Stretch before you do it, And also, the more that you play, the lighter you will end up playing. So really, in the beginning, a lot of people tense up. It's because they're trying to compensate for lack of technique and lack of practice and those sorts of things. So that happens naturally sometimes. So what you want to do is just practice more, and eventually that will work itself out. And also just be aware of it. Think about it. It's kind of like if you get mad about something, you're saying, be calm, just be calm, just be calm. If you talk to yourself like that, you will be calm more than if you didn't say that to yourself. So if you're saying, hey, ease up on the tension there, cowboy, just chill out, chill out, chill out, Terry's saying, what's the difference between the complete guitar system on Udemy and the ultimate guitar? And it's the unstoppable guitar system, Terry. But yeah, now I have a video on that on YouTube if you type in YourGuitarSage Udemy, Udemy. But essentially, the Udemy course has less videos. It doesn't have jam tracks. We don't do it live broadcasts like we do inside the Unstoppable Guitar System. The Unstoppable Guitar System has nearly 600 videos, nearly 600 jam tracks. It's getting a whole new facelift. We do live broadcasts. It's an ever-growing system. So I put an hour of new material in every single month. And in fact, we just uploaded a bunch of new jam tracks. I need to tell everybody those are live because they're live already if you're in the system already. We just uploaded 2 new hours of jam tracks, visual jam tracks. You've heard me talk about those. Those are up already. So those are the difference between the two, and obviously there's a price difference between them as well, Terry. So, and Udemy prices change a lot, and that has nothing to do with us usually. Okay, are there strings that are softer and sound less metallic? A friend of mine lent me a Takamine acoustic, but I feel the strings in it are not hard, so metallic, Jude is saying. Jude, yeah, you probably have a nylon string guitar, and nylon string guitars are softer. But typically, you only want to put them on nylon string guitars, not on steel string guitars, because the nut is specifically cut for those types of strings. You're going to have issues with it. I would not do it. I would highly advise not doing it. Leave steel strings for a steel string guitar, nylon strings for a nylon string guitar. Okay, bumping back over to YouTube, and I'm looking for those question marks. Best entry-level guitar and bass. I don't know about a bass, but as far as guitars, I've got you covered. Go to YourGuitarSage.com/gear or kit.com/YourGuitarSage. Bingo, bango, Django, right there. Kit.com/YourGuitarSage. Check that out. Travis started with a $50 acoustic. Nice, Travis. Yes, my first guitar was $0. My second guitar was $0. And the next guitar I got was like $200 or $250, something like that. All right, great. Scanning. How much should you pay for a first guitar? Made is saying, it depends. There is no proper way to answer that. I would be lying if I said there was a proper amount. I'd say, if you're paying, it just really depends because you could get a great used instrument, for affordably. There's no proper way to answer that. But if you're looking at my store, those are ones that I recommend. Those are ones that have great ratings. So that'll at least put you in the ballpark of what you should be looking at. But usually, you know, on the more affordable end, a guitar is going to be under $200 of an affordable guitar. All right, great questions. Okay, chat working? It is, Arthur. I see your chat. Okay, and yeah, I'm reading those questions right now on YouTube, my friend. But we're going to pop back over to Facebook, and then I'm going to look at those questions as well. Okay. I vouch for the Fender CD60 series, around $160. A friend said it sounds wrong. It's your fault, not the guitar. Okay, there you go. And there's some degree of truth to that, because you can take a guitar, even a guitar that's more affordable, and if you play it with love, if you play it with the energy that's in your soul, and you do what you need to do with the instrument, it's like driving a car. It's like you could put the most incredible Tesla in the hands of someone who doesn't know how to drive, and you could take a race car driver and put them in something that is not a race car, and chances are they're going to be able to get everything that they can out of that guitar, or out of that vehicle. It's not to say that they're going to win the race or anything like that, but it has to do with how much you're putting into it, okay? And to need a very expensive guitar to start off is really just an excuse. It's not based in reality. Do you have a course on learning how to play rhythm guitar? Randy, I do. That's the Unstoppable Guitar System. Not only does it have rhythm bits in there, but it's got lead, it's got music theory, it's beginner, intermediate, advanced, jam tracks, live lessons, the whole enchilada. Nearly 600 videos and growing. What do you think about treating your guitar with wood oil? Do you recommend it? And so what oil product would you recommend? Jonathan Rosillo is saying. Jonathan, I don't put any oil on my guitar, except for sometimes I'll put it on the neck a little bit, and I will put something called Guitar Honey. I used to use lemon oil, and I still have it, but I use Guitar Honey now. It was recommended by a guitar luthier to me, and they said it's better than the oil. So there you go. But not on the guitar itself. I don't do that. Can you advise on the thickness and best picks for different purposes, please? Terry Marie is saying. Terry, yeah, I actually went over to that at the beginning of the broadcast, and I have that in the free course at YourGuitarSage.com/30. I'll give you a 30,000-foot view of it, but essentially, the more strings that you're hitting, or the harder you're hitting the strings, the thinner the pick that you should have. The less strings that you're hitting and the more intricately you're playing, the thicker the pick. Now that's a rule of thumb, because somebody may say, I just like a thin pick all the time, or I like a thick pick all the time. Doesn't matter. This is what I like. And so, everybody has their own preference. That's totally fine. Totally subjective. Cool? All right, bopping over to YouTube again. Just bought my first Lloyd Rhodes system and wondering if you have any tips, Travis is saying. Yeah, Travis, don't. Just stay in standard tuning. Don't try to change the tuning on them. It is a nightmare, and the more you change your strings, the more nightmares you will have, because it's a closed, it's a closed system. Once you have it, it's like it just sits there. The other thing to do is, when you're tuning it up, is make sure that your fine tuners are centered. Not too far down or too far up. And then when you're tuning your strings, stretch them, tune them, stretch them, tune them, stretch them, tune them, until there's no more stretch, until it doesn't go out of tune anymore up here. Because what happens is people clamp that locking system down, and now their strings are stretching, and they have to take that off, and it just takes forever, right? Okay, so Fender or Strat? A Strat is a Fender. When would you suggest for beginners to learn bar chords? It just really depends. If you desire them, you should learn them. Beginners can learn bar chords. It's not an issue. Kevin's saying, if you're looking for one of the best teachers on YouTube, then you found him. Eric is the #1 reason I've progressed so far in 5 years. Thank you so much, Kevin. I really appreciate that, my friend. I've noticed when strumming that the high E string rings out much louder than the rest of the strings on the up strum. Any ideas? Well, yeah, because it's the first string that you're hitting. So what you can do is you can arc your hand a little bit to where you're not catching it as much, but it's getting the brunt force of the pick, and that's why it's doing that. How often do I change my strings? Only when I need to, either when they sound bad, when I'm going to the studio, going live, or if they start sounding wonky, out of tune, that sort of thing. Okay? Should lefties learn to play left-handed, or is it better to learn right-handed? My first teacher told me to play right-handed, but I find strumming to be a problem. You'll find strumming to be a problem as a lefty as well. Guitar is a problem. That's why I have a full-time job teaching people, and that's why the name of this broadcast is How to Defeat Beginner Guitar Players' Biggest Struggles or Problems, is because guitar is a problem, okay? It just is for everybody. So you're going to have problems strumming as a lefty or a righty. Depending on how long you've been playing, I would probably lean on what your guitar teacher's saying and go righty, because there's always a righty guitar around. There's never a lefty guitar around at a party. And when you go into the store, you'll see 1,000, if you go to Guitar Center, you'll see 1,000 righties and like 7 lefties. And it's just one of those things that you can do it. There's people that do it, but I'm just saying, if you're asking my suggestion, there's not a right answer to it. It's just my suggestion. Max is saying best oil to use for rosewood fingerboards. I like Guitar Honey. Look that up. What's the best age to start learning? This year, now is the best age to start. I've started kids learning as early as 5, and and you can see some 5-year-olds playing really well. So, all right. Is there a difference between strumming a 12-string versus a 6-string? No difference at all. Just the sound of it. How do I get to your store from your website, Wayward Crow? If you want to get to my store, go to kit.com/YourGuitarSage. kit.com/YourGuitarSage. There's the link right there. That's how to get to it. What would be a good affordable amp for an acoustic? There is not one. They usually start around $300. That's where they start. I have a standard acoustic. What would be your suggestion for purchasing a pickup, or just purchase an electric acoustic? Mark, my question to you first would be, why do you want to do that? If you're playing like in a band or something and you're not plugging into a board, then yes, then you probably would need to do that. But usually acoustic players plug into a DI box, a direct box, and then into a board, a mixing board, and then you're done, and then it's coming through the sound system. If you're just wanting it for practice, that's what an acoustic guitar is for. You've got the amp right there, right? It amplifies that sound. So I've never bought one. I've never found a need for one, and they're usually pretty expensive, and I'm like, why did I just do that? So I've never bought one. That's what I would say if I bought one. But about $300 is going to be the starting place. And this is, I don't have it. In my Gibson, in my SJ 200, I have a LR Baggs Anthem is the name of the pickup. It's a very expensive pickup. It might be $300, but it is the most amazing acoustic guitar pickup I've ever heard. It has a microphone in it, and it sounds exactly like your guitar with a high-quality mic on it. In fact, I've recorded it many times, and every single time I put a mic in front of it and plug it in, I end up using the plugged-in sound more than I do even with like a $1,500 mic. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. All right. There's modes lessons in YourGuitarSage. Yes, there is, my friend. There are mode lessons in YourGuitarSage. Should lefties? Yeah, okay, we've been over that one. Is there a good guitar tuner? Is Guitar Tuner a good app for tuning? Guitar Tuna? Yes, it is a great one. I can't seem to spread my fingers enough to reach all the frets I need to play. Any exercises you can recommend? That is saying. That, yes, I would suggest that you do exercise 1 and 2 inside the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. I've got video lessons for that, and then I've got breakout PDFs for you. It's all free. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Check those out. 1 and 2. It's just that you're getting used to the fretboard. And if you really want to get your hands stretched out, do exercise 3 that's inside the Unstoppable guitar system. What's the best way to keep things, to keep your guitar in great shape? Well, don't let your children play with it, maybe, and treat it like a baby. Don't keep it in the heat or the cold or the moisture or the dryness. You want to basically treat it like you would a child or a dog or an animal, like you would want to, care for it and treat it with love. So, you wouldn't want to keep it in a hot attic or a cold cellar or something like that. You want to keep it with you. All right, great questions. Arthur, can you play us a quick tune? I probably will at the end, Arthur, and then I will at the, or I did at the beginning of this as well. What are the difference between, okay, sorry, whoa, this thing's moving fast. What's the difference between acoustic and classic guitars? I actually just made a video for that. So that one will be coming out very, very soon, Made. Would you recommend keeping a guitar on a stand for a beginner as you're more likely to pick it up and play? Yes, I would suggest that. Indeed. All right, I'm going to bounce over one more time to Facebook, and then we're going to go. Let me remind you, if you have not already, if you just joined the broadcast, if you haven't already, we're picking 6 winners today. 5 folks are going to win some sort of book, CD type package from me, or the ebook bundle. And 1 lucky winner is going to win this Epiphone PR150. Ooh, right? And this guitar right here, my Takamine EAN10C, her name is Tatiana, is going away to some lucky winner on March the 24th when I do a live broadcast at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and there'll be a case. And in fact, I'm going to load it full of goodies like a book and a CD and probably a tuner and a capo and a strap, and I'm gonna look around the office because I have lots of extra bits. So I'm gonna load it up, just chock full of good stuff. All right. So whoever wins that, there you go. It's gonna have a lot of great stuff. Could you tell me how to choose my guitar genre? Nope, you got to do that. That's like asking me to pick your favorite color. You got to determine what your favorite genre is. I can't do that for you. I'd like to, but I can't. You know what your favorite guitar genre is. What's your favorite music? That's your favorite guitar genre. And if it's not, if it's like dubstep, then figure out a way to get guitar into dubstep. Do you have to buy a humidifier for the acoustic guitar? Is it recommended? It is, depending on the humidity in your location. Yes, indeed. I have several of them because it gets really dry here. In fact, it just got really dry again, and my fingers started splitting, and I always know that's not good because that means my guitars want to split as well. Not good. Near. Glenn Valera, veterans and the Unstoppable Guitar System simply just go together. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your service very much so. Metal. Zishan is saying metal. There you go. That's your answer. That is your genre. So learn some metal. Learn some metal tunes. That's how I got started. I loved it. What is this 3-note per strings thing I keep hearing about as opposed to the cage? Okay, Jeff. They don't have anything to do with each other, to be honest with you. So, when we're picking scales, typically we're picking either 2 or 3 notes per string. So here we have 2 notes, 3 notes on the next string, 3, 3, 2, 2. So, but what the 3-note strings scales do is they just make it a little bit more uniform. So you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you can do economy picking like that. And I teach both of those inside the course. I have the three notes per string scales, and I teach economy picking. So, but they don't really have anything to do with the cage system. I mean, you could work them into it, but it's not an either or thing, if that makes sense. Can I learn metal by just acoustic at first place, or do I need to buy an electric? No, you can do that. You can learn metal that way. It's going to sound like metal on a acoustic guitar, but yeah, you totally can. How do scales work with chords to make melodies? Well, I've got lots and lots of videos on that, Glenn. On YouTube, I would search YourGuitarSage chords melodies or chords scales to understand how to do that. That's a very extensive subject that would take a long time to teach on. But I've got lots of videos on that, and I've got lots of live broadcasts on that as well. All right, my friends, your last chance to share this video. If you haven't done it already and you want an opportunity to win this beautiful Epiphone PR150 today, do so now. Share that. I love you guys. I love doing these. There's some great questions today, and we've had a lot of great activity with you guys. So thank you so much. Power chords, Jude. Yes, on YouTube, type in YourGuitarSage power chords. In fact, for everybody, if you ever have a question about something on the guitar, type in YourGuitarSage, and then whatever it is you're looking for. YourGuitarSage power chords, YourGuitarSage blues, YourGuitarSage scales, YourGuitarSage chords, YourGuitarSage pentatonic, caged, Elvis, Billy Idol, like just name it, and chances are I've got a lesson on it. I have over 1,000 lessons on YouTube. So chances are if you type something, YourGuitarSage blank, you're gonna get it, something, okay? So, so that is for you. If you haven't already, download the free PDF. It's pinned to the top of the Facebook chat. You can see that there. It's YourGuitarSage.com/bonus PDF. And if you're on YouTube, the description for that is in, or the link for that's in the description of the video, okay? So I have that for you today. Basically, if you came late to this, you can watch that over again, but I've got lots of great bits and pieces inside of that PDF for you, okay? So number one, there's that. Number two, the gear store. So many questions about gear today. And we always get these. That's why we set up the store, right? So kit.com/YourGuitarSage. Check that out. Lots of great stuff there for you to peruse. A lot of stuff I've done reviews on, but everything I've checked out. Okay, so I'm not going to suggest something that I didn't check out and that doesn't have great reviews. Okay, I may like it, but I want there to be good reviews as well, right? So that, and I've got the free course for you today, YourGuitarSage.com/30. You see it right there. It is literally the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students here in Nashville. Would take about 30 times meeting with me. That would be a long time and a lot of money, but here you go. You got it for free. So check that out. Only thing you got to do is go to YourGuitarSage.com/30 and boom, bingo, bango, you're in. And lastly, if you want to win this guitar, my friends, go to YourGuitarSage.com/live. I got to give you links, right? Because otherwise, how would we survive in this weird digital world? You got to go to YourGuitarSage.com/live. Sign up with that live broadcast. We're gonna have a blast. We're gonna give away a ton of stuff away. Okay. So we're going to have a lot of fun. My friends, thank you so much, and I'm going to noodle a little bit here on the way out. And yeah, that's it. If you got any questions, you know where to find me.